started.
Rifleman. Okay, e4. What should I play? Let's see, e5. I haven't played a Sicilian in a while. Let's play one of those. Okay, knight c3 Sicilian. That can prepare the... yeah, he's setting up kind of a Grand Prix attack. He's going to play the move f4. That's usually what this setup implies. So in this case, let's go with e6 first. e6, knight e7, and pawn to d5. That's one way of sort of counteracting what's going on here. He's got two pieces on this pawn, and I've got two pieces defending it. And I can bring a third piece in with the bishop. He wants to give me an isolated pawn. Or maybe he wants to have an isolated pawn. I guess it all depends on how you look at it. He has to take with the knight. Maybe he was planning on taking with the queen. But that only works if you've got a pin here. Okay, so I'm going to go on with the fianchetto. That's the idea, unless there's a problem. Got two defenders and two attackers. And if he takes the knight, I take back with a pawn. He has tempo moves with the knight, but unless they really attack something, you know, all I'm losing is the pawn. All I have to deal with is one threat against the pawn, unless his knight can move with some kind of attack. So now I am attacking his knight. Let's see what he does. I have to take back with the pawn if he takes on c6 to defend d5. He just defends, yeah. Not bad. And then, you know, he could have tried maybe pinning my knight here. But I guess he has a more immediate problem to defend the knight. Okay, so let's get out of the E file so this knight doesn't get pinned. Oh, I ended up with the isolated pawn. That's right. I guess I get the isolated pawn no matter what. If I didn't take, then he would take on c5 and give me the isolated pawn. So, yeah, the way I played it, I was stuck with the isolated pawn. So he's got, he's going to be able to park another knight on on e5 if I trade d4. I can place another knight on d4 if I trade this one off. I can keep trading on d4, but trades are not good for me. Trades will cause trouble. Unless I can push the pawn forward. So the idea is if he takes, I take back. He can still... Yeah, maybe it's premature to do that. Okay, maybe I'll put a rook on the c file. Then I could try something. Okay, so he plays c3. That's probably a good preventative move. Okay, still rook rook c8 is the move, I think. Knight here. Knight takes, bishop takes. You can put a knight back here again. Bring his queen out. Okay, oh, that's a good move. It's attacking on b7 and it's attacking here. Okay, so let's put a little more pressure on the e4 square there. I'm dropping that pawn. Well, he has a choice of which pawn to take now. But maybe I can create some damage over here. We'll see. Queen takes. Knight takes knight. Knight takes. Play knight takes bishop and give him some isolated pawns. Yeah, so he goes there with the queen, right? Didn't really want to allow that. I did not want to allow that. But that's what it is. Okay, let's see how he takes back. Yeah, I need to keep taking until till there's no longer a knight there. Then I can at least get this bishop move in. He's playing very simply. He's going to be a pawn up and a rook and pawn endgame with pawns on both sides of the board. Maybe enough to win. We will see. Okay, all the material came off. even more material. I can control the d file though, I think, and get a rook to. That's my plan, is to get a rook to d2 there. You can come in on the e file. A rook d2, rook e1. He goes to defend right away. Well, I am still going with the rook to rook to d2. It's just a good square for it. Okay, well, let's move my pawns forward a bit and bring the king into the center. You can't attack the knight, the rook, without giving up a pawn over here. So I don't see how he's going to make progress this way. It's interesting. That's how he does it. He pushes this pawn forward, and now the other pawn can move forward. Let's bring my king closer to the center. When he plays the f pawn forward, I'm going to attack the g pawn with rook to g2. So his king goes back. Okay, let's try and put a cramp on these pawns too. Okay, so if he moves his b pawn forward, I will take the c pawn. If he moves the c pawn forward, I will take it. If he moves his king away from the f pawn, I'll take the f pawn. He can move the f pawn forward here. Maybe that's what he should do. And can I play f5, f4 here? f4 he takes, king comes forward. He comes forward to f3. Maybe that's not so good. Okay, so let's keep moving my pawns forward here.
Check.
Okay, now I have this check. Or even king here. He still can't attack my rook. He did get out of... he's no longer imprisoned by my rook, but his pawns are still a bit tied up.
Check.
Yeah, he can play that. Okay,
check.
Let's take those pawns
check.
off. And he can come into this square. If I go to... d5, he has rook d1 check. I go here. Don't know where he's going. I don't want that rook to be able to move with check though, so let's just drop back. His king can come forward now. But if the king does that, I can bring my rook to the f file and go after this pawn, I guess.
Check.
Yeah, now he's got two pawns hanging. He can attack one of my pawns, but I will still win a pawn. It's a question of which one is better. I could take this pawn, he takes that pawn. If I take here, it gives me a passed pawn, right? It gives him connected pawns. So let's think about this. Maybe I should just take here and give him these isolated pawns. And I can get my king in front of this f pawn. Aha. That's a nice move. He's preventing my king from stepping in front of the f-pawn. I can put my rook behind the f-pawn. Let's attack his rook. I'm happy with the draw, so if he just goes back and forth, I will accept that draw. Okay, so he goes there. Now I will go here. And he could defend that with his king, maybe. Yep. Okay, so I go back here. I should probably drop back to the bottom row so as to get the maximum checking distance. This may be a position I can draw. I don't know. Don't know technically if this is a book draw or not. This pawn maybe is far enough away to distract my king.
Check.
And then maybe he can win with this this pawn, the c pawn. Because at some point I'll probably trade. He is f pawn for my c pawn. So like rook here, he takes, I take, and then my king is cut off from this c pawn. But it's got a long way to go. Maybe I can find a way in. Let's see. However, if I move this pawn forward, what's he doing? He could take it. If I attack the if I attack his c pawn and he takes mine, then I take here. Then my king is in front of this pawn, so that would be good for me. But let's see, he could play, yeah, king in front of the pawn.
Check.
He goes away from the pawn. Oh, that's interesting, all the way over there. Now if I attack, I can attack my rook here, right? And I can attack over here. I guess eventually I'm going to have to go for this pawn. So I'm doing it at a time when his king is not attacking my pawn. He didn't take it. It's interesting. Okay, so let's calculate this king and pawn endgame. I take, he takes, king takes. His king goes here. I go here. He takes, I go here. He goes there. I go here. He keeps coming forward. I think, yeah, he's far enough in front of that pawn that that's a win. Okay. So let's try and keep his king cut off here. Tricky business, these king and pawn endgames. Yeah, so he goes there. I'll go back here. He's one step further away. If he just goes back too, I can also repeat. Okay, he gives me that. And my king is one step closer, but my king is cut off by the rook, so I don't know about this.
Check.
Let's see. Once again, this is a problem where if I take, he takes. Let's see, my king could step here, but his king has got opposition, and he just plays the pawn forward with check. I go here, his king goes there. It's still a winning king and pawn endgame. Sadly, Okay, let's put the rook behind the pawn. Yeah, so he's just keeping my king cut off. Let's see if he can make progress. I mean, my king is near his pawn, but he's trying to cut me off on the on this row here, and maybe that's good enough. Yeah, maybe that's winning. I was trying to cross over. The idea is to cross over to the other side here. Get on the opposite side of the pawn from his rook. Get on the short side.
Check.
Oh, that's nice. So he wins here, right? Okay, good endgame. I will
Black resigns.
upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.